What's up, everybody? JVille Sports here with my daily sports picks video, college football edition. It is Friday, September 28th. We are close to another college football Saturday. Welcome to week 5. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So what I do each and every week is I bring out my college football video and I give out a bunch of picks. And basically it's a bunch of games that I'm leaning towards. A lot of them I do end up betting on, some of them I don't. But what I do is I put all of my leans together into a big parlay. I throw a little bit on it, but I call it my long shot bet of the week, of the day, whatever you want to call it. It's any bet where the parlay payout is anything more than $10,000. So I put a bunch of leans together that I like, throw them all together into a parlay, and that's what you get, a long shot bet. But like I said, these are games that I'm looking at individually that I'm leaning towards putting some on. And if you look at what we've done so far, we are 22-13 with the games that I've used on my long shot bets. So that's 63% if you were taking these games straight up by themselves. So we've been doing really well with the games we've been picking. So we'll see if we can continue that trend and maybe hit one of these long shot bets one of these weeks. We will see what we can happen. So let's quickly recap what we did last week really quick here. We went 5 out of 9 with last week's long shot bet. So we had Toledo -10. They were against Nevada. They crushed Nevada 63-44, scored a ton of points in that game. Ball State, we had -3. They ended up losing to Western Kentucky. I think Western Kentucky came back. I think Ball State jumped out early, but then they give it up towards the end. Texas A&M, Alabama. I thought this game would be a little bit lower scoring, under than the 61, but Bama did what Bama does. They score 45 points. They do give up a lot of points as well, 23. So that game went 68, so touchdown over what we needed it to. Ohio State, we had them -37. This team is on the mission right now. They won 49-6 over Tulane, so that was another winner. Northern Illinois, Florida State. Both of these teams are struggling offensively, but Florida State finally figured things out. They scored 37 points. Northern Illinois scored 19, so that one went over the 45. Arizona, Oregon State. This was a huge over that really jumped out to me. I did not understand it. 75. It was 35-14, so that's 49 points. So this one went way under the total. TCU, Texas under 48. This one got pretty close, but it ended 47, so 1 point off the under there. And then we had Memphis -31, huge line there. South Alabama, really a bad team, but Memphis got off to a slow start, pulled away in the second half, but not enough to cover that 31. Eastern Carolina +22, they lost by 7, so they stayed close to South Florida all game long, low scoring game. So we had a lot of winners in here. We had some losses, so overall 5 out of 9, 55%. Like I said, you throw that together with what we've done the first 3 weeks, and we are overall 22-13 at 63%. So even though we haven't hit our long shot bet, of course, it's going to be very difficult to do so. The games that we've been putting on there, the leans that I've had every single week, most of them are coming through. 63% is amazing if that can hold true for the rest of the season. So that's what I love to do every week. I give you guys a bunch of picks that I'm looking at and throw them all together on the parlay for me. Not for you guys, unless you guys are crazy or want to do something crazy. Completely up to you guys. But if there's any of these games that you guys were already looking at, already leaning towards, and you can see that I'm leaning towards it too, maybe that gives you guys a little bit more confidence in that pick. So that's the reason why I do this long shot parlay. Not necessarily to hit it. Of course, I'm trying to hit it, but it's to give you guys a bunch of games that I am looking at, and maybe you guys are looking at the same game. And yeah, like I said, it gives you more confidence if you're looking the same way, or if you're looking the other way. Maybe gives you some hesitation or take a closer look into that game. But obviously I'm not hitting 100% of these, so even if you're thinking the other way, doesn't necessarily mean I'm right. So like I said, it just gives you guys an idea of what I'm looking at. So let's go ahead and, so that was last week's 5 out of 9. And so I also have a free play that I'll give out at the end of this video. Let's go ahead and recap what we did last week with our free play. We had West Virginia minus 16.5. They were playing Kansas State. Complete mismatch here. Kansas State is just not very good this year. West Virginia, very, very potent offense, and they put that on display. They easily covered this 16.5 points. So that was last week's free bet of the day. So we are now 3 and let me double check. I think we're back to even now. I think we're 3 and 3 with our free bets so far this week. So we got back to even. Now we're looking to go ahead of that and get up to the 60% range, which would be awesome. So 3 and 3 for the year with our free bets. With our Patreon straight bets, we are at 56%, so we're doing really, really good there. But same thing there, we're looking to get over 60% starting with this weekend. So I have a lot of good bets out there. So we'll see what we can happen. So we hit last week's free play of the day in college football. So like I said, I'll have another one towards the end of this video. But let's go ahead and move on to today's long shot bet of the day. Again, these are all lanes that I'm looking at. And this is a parlay where the payout is $10,000 or more. I'm going to throw it in, see what happens, and go from there. So this is this week's edition, week 5. So we're going to go with Syracuse, Clemson over 65. I look for a lot of points in this game. The one hesitation I have here, why it's not one of my top bets, is because Syracuse away from the Dome, they are not as good. Their defense, no matter where they play, is not good. So Clemson, I look for Clemson to get the majority of these points. I look for them to score between 40 and 50 points in this game. I just think they're going to go up and down the field. They're starting a different quarterback now. He is a much better passer. And Clemson is just way more talent than Syracuse. But Syracuse does have a good offense behind their quarterback, Dungy. So as long as he doesn't get knocked out of this game, I do think Syracuse can score some points. Clemson does have a pretty good defense, but points can be scored against them, especially with this Syracuse offense. Like I said, it's pretty good. So I look for Clemson to score a ton of points, Syracuse to score a decent amount of points, and this game to go over 65. Troy is playing Coastal Carolina. The reason why I like this game is because Coastal Carolina's quarterback is injured. Troy has been pretty good all year long. They got whooped earlier by Boise, but other than that, they've been pretty solid. So minus 14, I like them to put a whooping on Coastal Carolina. East Carolina minus 6.5. Interesting game here. They're playing Old Dominion. If you guys saw what Old Dominion did last week, completely shocking upset win over Virginia Tech. They were underdogs by 4 touchdowns, 28 points, and they win that game. They did get a little bit of help late when Virginia Tech's quarterback got knocked out of the game, Josh Jackson. But even before that, they were hanging with Virginia Tech. Completely shocking game there because Old Dominion was looking ugly before that game. But anyways, usually after a team gets a monumental upset win, they usually come back a little bit. They regress a little bit. It's human nature. So I'm going with East Carolina minus 6.5. I like them to take advantage of that because Old Dominion was partying all week. So East Carolina minus 6.5. Cincinnati, Connecticut over 58. Connecticut cannot stop anybody. Cincinnati could probably score 58 points themselves, but Connecticut can score as well. Their offense a little bit up-tempo this year, so I do think a lot of possessions in this game. So I like the total to go over 58. Ohio minus 13. They're playing UMass. UMass's quarterback is questionable. On top of that, they don't have a very good defense at all. Ohio State minus 13. I look for them to take advantage of that. Oklahoma State minus 17. Kansas has been looking decent for better than what they usually look like. Kansas usually is a doormat. Teams just run all over them every single week. A little bit more respectable this year, but Oklahoma State will dominate them tomorrow, I believe. Minus 17, Oklahoma State, especially after that loss from Texas Tech. They're definitely going to want to get their season back on track, not have any close calls, and just completely destroy teams that they should destroy, like Kansas. Texas Tech, that we just mentioned, plus 3.5 against West Virginia. This is going to be a very, very good game. Can Texas Tech beat another ranked team? I think they can at least keep it close. They're getting 3.5 points here. I'm going to take those points. Hopefully this will be, like I said, a close game between two pretty good teams, two good offenses. But I think both have underrated defenses. West Virginia and Texas Tech, they can definitely stop teams when they need to. So I look for Texas Tech and that defense to keep this game close. I don't know if they'll win though, but within a field goal, I think they can do it. Fresno State minus 10. The reason why this is not one of my best bets, because I really did like this game earlier in the week. The line has really moved. It came out around 7, 7.5, and it's quickly up to 10. Or not quickly up to 10. Over the week, it went up to 10. So a lot of money coming in on Fresno State. It's a tough spot for Toledo traveling to this side of the country. So, but I really like both teams, actually. I was on Toledo last week. But this week I'm going to be on Fresno State at home, minus 10. Like I said, I just think it's a bad spot for Toledo, so I definitely give the edge to Fresno State, but 10 points is a lot, but we'll see if they can do it. Florida State minus 6.5 against Louisville. This is another interesting game because Louisville has looked like garbage all year long, and so has Florida State, except for last week. It looked like they're starting to get it together a little bit. With a new coach and a new system, it's going to take this team, another team, UCLA. There's a few teams with new coaches and new systems. It's going to take them some time, and it might not take. They might not be able to get it together at all this year, just because they don't have the right players. They're inheriting another coach's team, so it just takes time. But I do think Florida State will get better as the year goes on because they just have so much talent here. Louisville, on the other hand, I don't know what they're doing. They just look really, really bad. Florida State's on the road here, but I don't think it's going to matter. Florida State minus 6.5. So that's going to be this week's long shot bet of the week for week 5. So these are 9 leans, 9 picks that I'm throwing out there that I'm looking at. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to put them all together. 40 will pay $11,420. We'll see if that comes through. So let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the picks here. So I have one free pick that I'm going to give out that's outside of that long shot bet. I feel a little bit stronger on it, so I'm going to give that out as a free bet of the day. Before that, I do want to mention my Patreon page, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. That's where I post all my plays every single day. We've had a really, really great season in the MLB. It's coming to an end, but NHL is coming. NBA is coming, college basketball is coming, so I'm still going to have picks every single day, in addition, of course, to college football and the NFL. So if you're interested in more than just my free plays of the day, definitely check out my Patreon page. This is what it looks like. This is how you get there, patreon.com/JVille Sports, or you can just go to patreon.com. There's a search box, type in JVille Sports. That's where you'll find me. That's where you'll find my page and all my daily picks every single day. For example, tomorrow I'm going to have my 3 best bets, which I did not include in today's video. I'm going to have my best teaser. I'm going to have my best moneyline parlay that we hit last week. It was a 6-team moneyline parlay. Came through at flying colors, so we're going to hit another one of those this week. So I have 3 of my best bets, my best teaser, and my best parlay. Those will all be over on the Patreon side of things. So if you're interested in those plays, definitely check out the page because that's where they will be. But let's go ahead and move on to today's free play of the day. We are going to go with the Cal Bears. This is a good game. Cal against Oregon. Cal at home. Underdogs at home. I'm going to buy a point here to +3. This is where I started out at +3, but money has been coming in on Cal to drop it down to 2, but hasn't moved too much. Oregon. How Oregon lost last week to Stanford, I do not know. I did not have that game in anything, so I really didn't care. I was just shocked that they had that game. So many different points in that game. They had it. I'm not sure how they lost that game. I'm not sure how they come back and get up for this game on the road and compete with that same intensity that they had against Stanford. That's a top 10 team that they should have beat. and they let it slip away. You have to think that that's going to linger into this week. Cal, very, very good defensive team. So I think they can hold that Oregon offense at bay. I think they can score some points as well. So I like Cal here. I'm going to give them +1, or I'm going to buy a point to make it +3 just in case. But I do think Cal has a great chance to win this game outright as a home dog. Cal +3 is this week's free bet of the day. So that's going to wrap up this week's college football video. I hope you guys enjoy all the games tomorrow. Have a great Saturday. A lot out there. Enjoy the games. Just enjoy your Saturday with whatever you guys got going on. Hopefully you guys have a very successful Saturday. Thank you guys, like always, for joining me today. Like you guys always do. Like I said, if you're interested in more than just my free play, more than the leans that I gave out on the long shot bet, all my other plays will be over on the Patreon side of things. But again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Wrap up this video. Good luck with all your picks, and I'll see you guys for my NFL video tomorrow. Good luck.